Day in the life of a woman with no purpose. I'm 31 years old, I'm not married, I don't have children, and I like it that way. Despite being a loving daughter, a trustworthy friend, and a successful business owner, I don't need a singular purpose to live a fulfilling life. I prefer to be open and flexible with the freedom to live out each day as I please. I often hear my married friends say, marriage is hard work, children are exhausting, and call me crazy if you want, but I don't want to work hard and I don't want to be exhausted. I want to feel at peace and calm and centered and feel capable to embrace change and move freely with the flow of life. And I don't see how being tied down in a marriage or with kids could be any more fulfilling than that. Not that I don't want to date or fall in love eventually, but my experience dating men has been so disappointing. I'm highly emotionally intelligent, financially stable, successfully self-employed, and most men are insecure or jealous when a woman is smarter, funnier, or more successful than them. And I refuse to settle on someone who won't add equal or greater value to my life. So while you think my life has no purpose, I know that my purpose is fluid and can be anything I choose. And to me, that is an incredibly beautiful and worthwhile life.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Omaomi, aka Petite Diva, and this video is inspired by a question that a woman in her 30s who is married and has kids asked child-free women that are in their 30s.
Okay, as a mom of two in her 30s, can all my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids? I just want to see something. Like, what is it like to not have kids in your 30s? Like, I feel like I thought I had the right age on when to have kids. Like, you know, now that I'm in my 30s, I feel like, okay, I have my two kids. But, like, I start thinking about what my kids are going to be like, what I'm going to be like when my kids are in high school, what my kids are going to be like when they're 18, 19, 20. Did I wait too late? Like, did I do it early? Did I do it late? Like, what would my life be like if I did not have kids until my 40s? Or what would life have been like if I had kids in my 20s and they're a little bit older and I'm in my 30s? Like, I've just always wanted to know, like, there really isn't a right age, right? Like women are having kids in their 40s and their 50s. I mean, I even see people having kids in their 60s. Like, is there really a right age?
Now, the lady was saying that she's married, she has two kids, and that she just wants to know what women that are in their 30s that have no kids, how their life is with no kids. And quite a lot of women had things to tell her about their lives.
All my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids.
Alright sis, so let me break it down for you real fast. So, I love kids, but I also love the idea of returning them to their parents at the end of the day. You get to wake whatever time that you want, depending on how your schedule is for that day. When you're broke, you're not worrying about you can't contribute to whatever expense that the child or the children might have, because parenting is a two-way street. I can go anywhere that I want. I don't have to worry about babysitter, somebody to babysit the kids if it's not somewhere that is kids friendly. I can just leave whenever I want, and that is both locally and internationally. I was away in February and I'm thinking about going back.
Can all my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids? Okay, as a mom of two in her 30s, can all my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids?
Hey girl, 36, no kids, don't want them. But what I'm doing right now is planning my third cruise, my third solo cruise of this year. So right now I'm looking at about $3,200 for 57 nights, not just on a cruise, but traveling from Los Angeles to like in place in Tokyo, then being able to stay in Tokyo for 2 weeks, then go to Singapore for 2 more weeks, then jump on a cruise from Singapore down to I think LAX, and that's like 20 something. Y'all, that's what my brain is right now. I can literally travel for 57 days for under $3,300, okay? 25 of those nights will be all-inclusive. 18 of those days I'll get free breakfast. The other ones I have to like figure out my own eating, but that's completely fine. But yeah, like That's 57 days for under $3,300. And then prior to that, I'm doing a 18-day cruise that links up to the 57 days. So like, y'all, that people with no kids, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be vacationing.
Can all my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids?
Wow, gosh, it's a really good question. I saw another video response to this that was like, child-free people don't spend as much time intentionally thinking about being child-free as people with children think about being parents, because it's like, there's no prompt there. Like, you wake up and like, oh, there's a child, better take care of that child, but we don't really have that. And so something that hit me when I turned 30 was like, well, a lot of my friends and family members in my generation are having kids. And so, one, I'm spending more time than I thought I would be hanging out with kids. But two, I'm spending a lot of time figuring out how to be intentional with the time that I'm not spending raising kids. So that's exciting. I'm excited to have the freedom to choose the sort of goal or intention that I want to have since I don't have kids. But it's also a little daunting to try to figure out something equally challenging and amazing and cool and fun to do with my time. So that's where I'm at.
Can all my women in their 30s tell me what it's like to not have kids?
Well, it is 10:45 a.m. on a Sunday. I think I will wake up now. Do you hear that? No, you don't. Exactly. Looks like I left the lights on to my bar cart. Would definitely not be able to have this out if I had little tiny baby children. I spent $400 on this tattoo last week. Because I could. I am now going to sit outside, drink my coffee, read my Kindle. As you can see, I live in a child-free community, so no, I'm kidding. That's not a thing. I'm now headed to meet two of my child-free friends for lunch. Ubering, because I'll probably be day drinking. Just got done with sushi and margaritas. Now I'm going to do some shopping. Do I need anything particular? Nope. Why am I shopping? Because I can. Okay, I am back now. I will probably spend the rest of my evening drinking some Prosecco, watching true crime, and doing some research for my 10-day trip to Italy I have coming up very soon. Oh yes, then I'm going to New York. Then I'm going to Toronto. I will probably fit in an Epcot food and wine trip in there somewhere. Lots to do. Bye, guys.
I am a 30-year-old woman. And this week alone, my mother-in-law, my boss, and my cleaning lady have told me that I need to have a baby in the next 5 years. See, I didn't realize we were still telling women what to do with their bodies. You know, you're always told that there's a lot of pressure from society to have babies and to have babies young or whatever. But what no one tells you is it's not just pressure, it's like people are explicitly telling you what to do. Anyways, I guess this is just 30.
Not having children was a major financial decision. We were actually able to focus on retiring earlier. Both our families actually worked much longer into their 60s and 70s, and we decided that we wanted to retire in our 40s instead.
I have a lot of aspirations, you know, owning a big house, traveling. There's just all these extra expenses that not only do I have to worry about for myself, but now I have to worry about for someone else.
I have only just recently become financially comfortable in my own life.
Not having children allowed me to be able to be more successful in my career. I did love my job. At the height, I was a vice president.
Nowadays, like between climate change, how people are handling the pandemic, The future is really bleak. So
by the time I was sort of settled into my first career-focused job after undergrad, the housing market crashed. Just at every turn, at every one of those milestones that I was describing about needing to do that evaluation of becoming a parent, there was overwhelming social and global factors that were giving me way, way, way more in the con column.
I'm jealous of my successful cousins.
Oh.
Lately, I've been feeling jealous of my younger cousins in their mid and late 20s, whilst I'm in my 30s. I used to be their role model, but now I feel overshadowed by their achievements. Despite my master's degree, travels, good health, published books, and talents, society seems to value marriage and children more. My cousins, with their wealthy, supportive partners, seem to have it all. Their boyfriends are white, European, and from affluent families. Although I prefer people of colour, I wonder if my dating experiences would have been better if I had been more open to interracial dating in my 20s. I've often attracted the wrong type of men, and black American men in college were often disappointing, either uninterested in serious relationships, chasing white girls, or overly religious and seeking specific types of black women. Being child-free, I often felt misunderstood by black men who couldn't comprehend a child-free black woman. I'm happily child-free, but this choice seems to diminish my value in the dating scene. My cousins are beautiful and feminine, making me feel less attractive in comparison. Whilst I know I shouldn't seek validation from men, it's hard not to feel this way. I love my cousins unconditionally, but find it difficult to connect with them now. I'm proud of my achievements, but feel time is running out to find respect and companionship. This woman needs help. What say you guys?
Go. Speak.
Beloved. So, growing up here, I feel like I was very much raised to believe that success for me as a woman was to be married and have children. Yeah. So that's what I went about my business doing. I was like, oh, I need to get married, I need to get married, I need to get married, I need to get married. And I feel like I became so obsessed with that I was in relationships I shouldn't have been in longer than I needed to be in, settling for things purely because I wanted that achievement of success and being married. And then when I came out of my last relationship, I remember I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 31. Oh my gosh, I have to start again. Do you know what I mean? And then I just got over myself really quickly and I was like, girl, that's good. You have so much more going ahead, going for you in your life. You've got an amazing career. You're doing really well for yourself. Success doesn't, I understand, especially if it's something that you genuinely do want. Yeah. But it's not. Yeah, it's not. And also I feel like when you're in that space, it's very dangerous because that's when you're likely to settle.
People with no kids, what are you doing with your weekend? Let's see what the people of Twitter have to say. Watching my sister's kids. Free birth control. This person had their art featured in an exhibition. Girl, love that for you. So slay. Making sure it stays that way. So real. You would enjoy my free birth control series. This person got 7 new books. I hope you have time to read them all. Sleeping until noon. Every day. Anything I want without consideration of anyone but myself. Sounds lovely. Being irresponsible with my money with no consequences. Listen, you do you. Disposable income is disposable for a reason. Anything I want. Yes. Whatever the hell we want. Yes. This person went hiking with their dogs. Look how cute. You're so happy. Not worrying about others not having kids. She got them there. Anything we want. Whatever I want. Coming and going as I please. Love this for y'all.
Number one question I get asked whenever I tell someone that I'm in my 30s is, do you have kids? My answer is always, no, I don't, and I'm not even sure that I want them. It's not a definitive no, and it's not a definitive yes. It's just a, I don't know. And the response to that is always, you're going to be lonely when you're older, which I just think is the most ridiculous logic in an argument. Are we not going to talk about when you do have kids and they become teenagers and they move out of the house and then you're just there all alone with your partner who you haven't been able to nurture a relationship with because you spent all your time and focus on having kids? As soon as I turned 18, I was straight out the house, straight to uni, and have never moved back home since. And there's also the other side of I don't even speak to my own dad because of personal issues. And granted, it's a two-way street. He doesn't speak to me either. So like, look how that worked out. Just because you have kids, it doesn't mean that you are guaranteed a non-lonely life. And also, why does no one talk about if you don't have kids, all of that time that you have to nurture relationships, to find other couples that don't have kids, to really put your all into your partner or your dog or your nieces, your nephews, your friends' kids. It is just the most flawed logic. And it's really interesting because I've had conversations with people who have had kids at my age who say they feel more isolated than ever because of the time and attention they have to put into their tiny human being. So yeah, what do we think? Is a life without kids lonely? I would beg to differ.
49-year-old woman who's never been married or had children, I wanted to take this time as I made my cup of coffee to explain to you all the reasons why I regret never having children or getting married. Coffee is done. Waiting for my froth to be frothed. That is done. Ready. Good. Now I'm going to start the rest of my day, and I hope that answers all of your questions. Bye now.
Now, someone said when she's broke that she doesn't think about how her being broke can affect the expense that she would have spent on a kid because she doesn't have a kid. Another person was talking about the fact that she's planning trip to different cities and she's just thinking about the money that she's going to spend and where she's going to and how she's going to enjoy herself. And I was just thinking about the fact that there was a particular time where I was broke after making some bad financial decision, in my own opinion. And I was just saying that if I had kids, I wouldn't have made this kind of decision. I would not have spent my money the way I spent it, to the extent that I'm now broke, because I would be thinking of my kids, I'll be thinking of my family, I'll be thinking of my husband. So I would not spend like that. And I was just thinking, if I'm broke, what will I do? In that case, will I be able to afford some things for my kids, and how I cannot be at a position where I'm broke. And I was also thinking about the fact that when I spend on some things, when I overspend on some things, I'm just like, if you have children, if you have a family, you cannot do this. You have to minimize your spending on even the things that you want, because you're thinking of, if I spend so much money on this thing, what will happen to my child's school fees? Or if something happens to the child, maybe hospital bills or something, or if my child wants something, would I tell the child I don't have because I've spent a large amount on my own thing. So I was just thinking about the fact that I have the luxury of buying anything that I want for myself without thinking of any other person or without having to sacrifice what I want to get because I want to get it for my kid or I want to get it for my family. But also lately I've just been thinking about the fact that there were some things that I wanted to do previously, and I used to think of how I would do those things with my mother, considering the state that sometimes she might be in, which used to restrict some of the things that I want to do because I've been thinking of my mom. And I was just thinking about the fact that when she died, I felt like she just gave up and she sacrificed herself so that me and my sibling can fully live life without thinking all the time about her. That was how I felt. I felt like she didn't fight too long. She didn't fight too hard. She just decided to sacrifice herself so that we can move forward with our life. We can do things without always considering her. And I was just thinking about the fact that I've not really done anything since she left early, that it's going to be very bad if I allow a sacrifice, in my own opinion, to be in vain. And I just started thinking about how I need to focus on those things, how I need to focus on my purpose, focus on achieving the things that I want, just to make her proud, to make her sacrifice not be in vain. And if eventually I get a husband or kids, that hopefully by God's grace, the husband and the kids will align with my purpose. They will not bring me back. They will not restrict me, but everything will work together, that it will be moving forward as it should, even faster, because his own purpose will also align with my purpose and his achievements would align and we will complement each other. But I need to start focusing on those things. I need to start doing those things before I get married, if I'm supposed to get married. But I cannot just wait till I get married and start saying, oh, I'm looking for my purpose, and then things will start interacting. But for now, I don't know. I've just been thinking about how I need to focus on my purpose and start working towards that and not being lackadaisical about things because I have been distracted by a lot of things. So I was just thinking about that fact that now is the best time for me to do those things without any distraction. If I want to up and leave and go somewhere, I don't have to think about anything. I just up and leave. So that is what I've been thinking about. So I kind of agree with some of the things they were saying. There's just this sometimes bliss. We're not having to think about what's going to happen to these kids, what's happening, this and that and the rest. I don't know what you guys think about the question and some of the answers that people have said. If you are child free, what is the best thing about being child free? And do you think you are missing out on having a child or having children? I would love to hear what you think about the question and what you think about this topic. So please leave your comment in the comment section so that we can get this discussion popping. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.